what we found. It's a big sound in a small town. Far from the bright lights, they're making music every night. Hear what is all around. It's a big sound in a small town. It's a big sound in a small town. It's a big sound in a small town.
Hi, and welcome to Big Sound Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton, and this is a podcast about the lives and stories of the musicians, writers, artists, and their associates that have their roots in the small towns and communities across America. If you like what you hear, tell somebody. Enjoy.
Scared of what his folks could say. His home was gone, his pockets bare. They warned him it would end this way.
He returned to start anew. No money for a shave and trim. He asked, would this fiddle do? Said it wasn't any use to him. Fiddle up high, fiddle down low. Fiddle most everywhere I go. I'd fiddle until my dying day. If I could make a life on a fiddler's pay.
Mr. Jean swept the floor, spun me around and said, you're done. I begged him to tell me more. What happened to the wayward son?
Turns out it was Mr. Jean hung his fiddle up that day. Now I'm living out his dream because he taught me how to play. Fiddle up high, fiddle down low. Fiddle most everywhere I go. Gonna fiddle until my dying day. If I can make a life on a fiddler's pay. Fiddle up high, fiddle down low. Fiddle most everywhere I go.
All right, we're good.
Hey everybody, my name is Becky Buller. I'm a fiddler, singer, and songwriter. Originally from St. James, Minnesota, now living in Manchester, Tennessee.
Well, that's great, Becky. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you.
Seemingly, well, wait, how did you get from Minnesota to Nashville?
I got here by way of East Tennessee State University in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Okay, that's good to know. See, that's something that I think is missing that people do not know. So, all right, 2020 has been a tough year for everyone, particularly in the music industry. But somehow you seem to thrive and be really successful this year. You want to talk about 2020?
It's completely the grace of God. I give Him all the glory. It's been a different sort of year. It's been a year of incredible highs and incredible lows. I got to sit in with the first ladies of bluegrass, backing up Steve Martin during a run of his and Martin Short's comedy shows down in Florida back in January, and got to play some shows with my band up till March, and then everything went crazy. And I've been home, I've been teaching, I've been writing, released a new record in the midst of this, but it's all been it might look slick on the outside, but on the inside it's been just as crazy for me and my family as it has everyone else.
I'm sure, but you have seemed to have a very successful year. I mean, the record, you want to promote it a little bit? It's A Distance in Time. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brand new record. It's called Distance in Time. We chose that title before the world shut down. I swanny to goodness. We really did. It's completely providential that we chose that title. It's a line from the song We Let Each Other Go. This is my third album on Dark Shadow Recording. And I'm proud to be working with those folks out of Goodlettsville, Tennessee, Stephen Mogen, Yana Mogen, really great people.
And it's doing pretty well on the charts. You haven't really spoke about that.
Oh, yeah, it is. It debuted on the Billboard Bluegrass chart at number 9. So we're really proud of that.
And I've seen that there's singles released from it doing really well also.
Yes, really grateful for that, especially the song More Heart, Less Attack. That's gotten a lot of airplay, and it's such a timely message for right now because we're so divided. And it's a song about being a peacemaker and bringing light and hope and life and love to your communities.
Well, we need more messages like that.
We do. So that's a Need to Breathe cover that we did on the new album. I hope you'll check it out.
Oh, I will. I actually have. I hope everyone that's listening will check it out. It's. Where did you record that at?
We recorded it at Dark Shadow Recording in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Okay,
I didn't know if that was something you guys did from home or. Oh wait, you would have had that done though before. You didn't do that during this. You had already recorded it before COVID, right?
We did, yes.
That's great.
Yeah, we cut the last track for the record, which was my cover of Woodstock, Joni Mitchell's song Woodstock, and it was myself and Jerry Douglas on that cut. Jerry, of course, playing dobro, and I'm playing clawhammer, banjo, and hollerin'. And we cut that the day before the world shut down.
Wow. That's just, there is some providence to this, or divine intervention maybe, that you were able to do this during this time. I was going to ask you, did you use your band on the...
We did, yes. We used my band on the bulk of the record, although we've got a lot of special guests. My band is doing, most of the heavy lifting on the album. We've also got the Fairfield Four came in and sang "Tell the Truth, Shame the Devil" with us.
Yep.
And The song Salt and Light includes beautiful harmonies by the Isaacs. Melanie Cannon came in to sing on We Let Each Other Go, and Ronnie Bowman sang a duet with me on a song called You Come Around. So that was really fun. 16-year-old me was freaking out that she got to sing with Ronnie Bowman. and then, of course, the Barber's Fiddle, which that just won the 2020 Collaborative Recording of the Year from the IBMA, and that features my band along with, and we have 18 total fiddlers on that track.
I have listened. It's really incredible. And I'd like to say that your band is pretty incredible also.
Thank you. Yes, they are, and they're good guys on top of that, and they're so funny, and they make my job easy, and they keep me laughing. And so, can I mention who's in my band?
Oh, most definitely.
Sure. So that's Ned Luberecki on the banjo, and he's your 2018 IBMA Banjo Player of the Year. We're so proud of him for that. Professor Dan Boner, head of the East Tennessee State University Bluegrass Old Time and Country Music Program. He plays guitar with me. And Nate Lee on the mandolin. Nate's a 2015 IBMA Momentum Award winner. And then we've got Daniel Harden on the bass. Mm-hmm. And Daniel... by day, he works at Jack Daniels in his hometown of Lynchburg, Tennessee. He's in the bottling plant there. But by night, they let him out to play music with us sometimes, and we really appreciate that.
That is too cool. Of course, that was one of the things. I live in Shelby, North Carolina, which is Banjo Town, and everybody said, please ask about her banjo player. So this is Cleveland County. So
yeah, Ned is he's incredible. He's my favorite banjo player. He really is, because he can do anything. He can play really progressive stuff and really traditional stuff, whatever the song needs. He can do it, and he's also an incredible teacher. He does a lot of private lessons, a lot of workshops. He wrote a curriculum for Alfred Music Publishing, and he also works with True Fire to do a video series. He's about to head down and do some more videos for them down in Florida coming up in a couple weeks. So he's got lots of wonderful instructional material out there, and he's a fantastic DJ. He's one of our favorite voices on Sirius XM satellite radio.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, for all you Cleveland County banjo people wondering, there's the story that you've been asking about. This is run out of the Earl Scruggs Center.
I know, that, I am so proud that my banjo and my fiddle are pictured in the Earl Scruggs
I was
Center.
going with that. Yes. What?
Yes, they're part of that interactive table that you come in and you can be part of a jam session. Well, if you choose clawhammer banjo, that's me, and if you choose fiddle, that's me. And they've got some beautiful pictures of my instruments in there, and I'm just so proud of that. I got to do that while I was working with Darren and Brooke Aldridge.
Oh yeah, while we're on that, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in 2012, I was I took a break. I had played with Valerie Smith and Liberty Pike for 10 years, from 2001 to 2011, and got married in 2009 and kept touring. But then it got to the point where Jeff and I were hoping we could have kids, and so I took a break from touring for a very short time, and ended up, we were able to have Romy, our daughter. She's 7 years old now, but when I was pregnant with her, Darren and Brooke needed somebody to fill in on the fiddle, and I said, well, I'll fill in with y'all. And they're like, well, you just want the job? And I, I'm pregnant and kind of out of my mind, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. and I say out of my mind only because it was a long way to Cherryville, North Carolina, from Manchester, Tennessee. It is a long way, and you're supposed to have a baby and get off the road, right? But I didn't do that. But anyway, I want that to be very clear. I enjoyed playing music with Darren and Brooke, and singing with them especially was so much fun because they're so good.
They are talented.
So I spent about 2 seasons with them, and then I did this record. I did the Tween Earth and Sky record for Dark Shadow Recording, and then my daughter started walking, and my husband said, we've got to do something different here, because you can't be running in North Carolina every other weekend.
Sure.
It's just too much for us. You need to make your own schedule. And so that's when I got painted into a corner and had to start my own band.
Well, I mean, obviously it was a good decision.
It was, and I'm grateful now, but I was avoiding it because of all the stress. that I knew was associated with leading a band.
Sure,
and,
it is.
And I didn't feel like I could do it, like that I was up for the task or that I would hold up. But, you know, again, I'm just grateful that God has sent some really awesome people to play in my band over the past 5 years, and they've made my job easy, and I'm grateful to them for that, and I've enjoyed it very much, and I'm glad that folks are enjoying it too, what we do, and really appreciate getting to do what we do.
Yeah, we always thought that Darren was the luckiest guy in the world when he landed you. We were like, what? So, so you know, we thought probably he might have done something like tied you up and threw you in the trunk and brought you. So I don't know. But you know, but no, I'm sure that was a good time. Darren is kind of getting like Doyle Lawson in the fact that he seems to be growing good musicians and sending them out in the world.
Yeah, well, and he's an educator too. You know, he I don't know if he's still teaching a lot of lessons, but I know he was.
Oh yeah, I think he still does.
So he's got a heart for that.
He actually leads workshops for the youth in the area through the Earl Scruggs Center too sometimes.
Okay.
So yeah, he does pretty good with that. Well, all right. You want to talk about the IBMAs?
Sure.
I mean, you only have like 100 awards, right?
Not quite 10. I've got 10 of them now, and I'm grateful for each one of them, and humbled. There's still a part of me that is like, this can't be happening, you know, because for so long I've idolized the people that win these awards, and it's just surreal to me to be in amongst them. Well,
you know, your awards are kind of varied too. I mean, you want to. When did you get your first one?
The first one was with the Daughters of Bluegrass back in 2006.
Okay.
And that was for, let's see, let me look. I'm sitting right here in my music room. I've got to look. I can't remember which album that was off the top. Back to the Well.
Okay. And so that was the first one you won?
Yes.
But then they kind of started rolling in, like 2015 was huge, right?
Yeah, 2015 was pretty big. That was songwriter, and emerging artist, and recorded event of the year for Southern Flavor. Yeah,
I mean, that's a lot in 1 year.
Yes, yeah.
And they're different. They're different type of things. I mean, you know.
Well, and 2016 was even bigger because I won female vocalist and fiddler of the year, and I'm the only person to ever win in both vocal and instrumental categories, and the first female to ever win fiddle player of the year, which blows my mind because, you know, I'm standing on the shoulders of people like Alison Krauss and Lori Lewis, and I can't believe that they didn't win that award long ago.
Well, I will tell you that at this moment, the world has a lot of good young female fiddle players.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I see, truthfully, I see more good female fiddle players these days than I do male fiddle players.
There's some good ones coming up. Bronwyn Keith Hines, Ainsley Porchek,
sure.
Laura Orshaw, who's the first woman to ever win the Spigma Fiddle Player of the Year award.
Right.
She's the reigning fiddler there. Deanie Richardson, I was so proud that she won the Fiddle Player of the Year from the IBMA this year. She's a monster fiddler.
She is. She really is. Well, now, then let's see. This year was pretty good to you too, right?
Yeah. So this year we won Collaborative Recording of the Year for the Barber's Fiddle.
Yeah.
And then I also was involved in the Song of the Year award. I co-wrote the Song of the Year Chicago Barn Dance with Missy Raines and Allison Brown. Of course, it was recorded by Special Consensus.
Right.
And so that, it's been a wild ride.
I would say it has. Okay, now while we're on, which of those are you most proud of? Being songwriter, female vocalist, or fiddle player? Or, I mean,
my gosh, you're gonna make me choose. I don't know if I can choose. I don't know. I think that's so hard.
It is hard.
That is hard.
I mean, the fact of the year, I guess, would probably have to be 2016 maybe, that you're the most proud of. I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah, I mean, 2016 was the most, historic of all of the awards. So I guess we'll go with those two awards. Can I pick two?
Sure, you can pick two.
Fiddler and female vocalist, and so I'm me, and I feel like I've got to really live up to that fiddle award, which is crazy, but it's just how I am. And when it happened, my husband. So I'm a huge fan of Stuart Duncan.
Who's not?
Who has won that award many times,
Many.
And my husband, when I told him what happened, because he couldn't be there with me that night, he said, "Well, Stuart Duncan never got female vocalist of the
year." See, you have something over him.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's great. I mean, has anyone won female vocalist of the year since you did that and the fiddle, other than Brooke?
No. Well, no. Let's see. Brooke has won it the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm so proud for her. She has such a beautiful voice. And it's just really great to see them getting the recognition that they are, and they're getting to play the Opry a whole bunch.
They do, yeah.
I hope they get to become members.
I do too. Well, I think they're going back this weekend, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So they do play there a lot. Okay. Then take me through the journey from being a child in Minnesota to basically a bluegrass superstar.
Well, my parents first heard bluegrass music when I was about 5 years old. We went to an event called the Butterfield Threshing Bee in Butterfield, Minnesota, and there was a man on the board. His name, the board of the Threshing Bee, his name was Bing Hansen, and he was a bluegrass fan, and he got them to include bluegrass music at this threshing bee. And do I need to explain what a threshing bee is?
Oh, yes, you do.
Down here. Okay, so I'm from the upper Midwest, and a threshing bee was when these the big threshing equipment came in, and they would thresh the wheat, and then they would move on to the next farm and do that for them, and anyway, it's just a celebration of old timey farm equipment and the yesteryear. Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, okay, so they had a little kind of pioneer village there, and they had demonstrations of making ice cream with an old steam engine and all this old threshing equipment, these big steam engines, and there was a petting zoo, and just anyway, all this stuff. And then there was bluegrass music. So my dad heard the mandolin, and he fell in love with it, and ended up getting mandolin lessons. My mom played guitar already, so they joined another couple, Gordy and Roxy Schultz, and they started a band called Prairie Grass, and they had that band until I graduated from high school.
Wow.
And I wanted to sing with them, and they said, you have to play something, because this is a bluegrass band. That's how it works. Everybody plays something. So I said, okay, you don't have a fiddle. I will play fiddle. Get me fiddle lessons. And they're like, yeah, right. Okay, whatever. And they were also paying for piano lessons for me at that time. Looking back now, and they told me a little bit more about what their finances were like at that point. It wasn't great, but somehow they always found money for lessons, for music lessons. So I took piano for 10 years. I took fiddle I took violin lessons for about 8 years in there too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not a lot of Minnesota Minnesota fiddlers.
Well, yeah, especially in my area, because I grew up 2 hours southwest of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Way out in the boonies, yeah. And you had to drive about an hour in any direction to find another bluegrass musician. It was always people that my parents' age or older.
I'm sure.
So it wasn't until I was about 16 and I got to go to the Minnesota Bluegrass Old Time Music Association's festival, their summer festival, and I met some kids from the Twin Cities that were my age that played, and that really cemented me in pursuing the music. And but let's see, I did Suzuki Method violin. I took from Patty Trias in Mankato, Minnesota, and then after I went as far as I could with her, and then I took a couple years of lessons with Charles Gray at St. Olaf College. If anybody's watched The Golden Girls, you've heard about St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. And I was in orchestra, but my heart was really in the fiddling. That's really what I wanted to do. And so Patty, my first teacher, would teach me some fiddle tunes on the side because she knew that's what I really wanted to do. And then I also picked up a lot of stuff off of records.
Yeah.
And Suzuki Method emphasizes ear training, which is so good. And you've got to have that as a bluegrass fiddler. You've got to be able to hear stuff and pick it up quickly and then improvise on it, which is another skill. You know, I just feel so blessed that I learned both the fiddle and the violin together.
I think that is really important.
Both disciplines at the same time. And I think I know it helps me now as I'm trying to teach other people.
Sure, there's a local fiddle player here with a pretty successful band, and what he did is he told his band director, "I'll play violin, but you have to teach me fiddle tunes." And the devil went down to Georgia for me to stay in the orchestra, or I'm out of here.
Of course,
you know.
Of course, yeah.
So it did. I mean, and you know, he threw all high school, all middle school playing in the orchestra, but then he was fiddling on the side too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important, I think, to get. Also, one of the things I see that you had, which is vitally important to musicians, is parental support.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I found out that my dad had really wanted piano lessons as a kid, and his parents wouldn't get them for him because they thought it was something a girl should do. Yeah. And so then it makes sense that my dad was so supportive of me and my brother with music lessons. Well,
that is good. I mean, not everyone has that, so it doubles the. It's already hard to do music, but without support of your family, it's doubly hard.
Right.
Everybody's wondering when you're going to get a job.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So somehow you got out of Minnesota.
Yeah. So when I was 16, Sandy, there's somebody at my door. Can we edit this?
Well, yeah, we can edit this.
Hey, Mr. Edgar. Thank you. This is for Susie.
Enjoy that time.
I will.
Stuff kind of blows over and everything. I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Come up here and I'll break the stuff we'll do.
Awesome. I can have all the supplies ready, and we can do it. Thank you, Mr. Edgar. Bye. Okay, so I'm sorry, Sandy. That was Mr. Edgar Usselton. He's like 92 years old, and he makes the best pecan pies in the whole world.
Oh no, we're not editing that part out. That's just too good. No, that stays.
He's also a fiddle player.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes, and one more thing, he had a guitar that legend has it was owned by Kitty Wells, and he sold it to Vince Gill.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's not. None of that's getting edited. No, that's not happening. One of my highlights is I had supper one night with Kitty Wells.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
Do what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
When was that?
Oh, that would have been in the 80s. She was playing a place I was playing at, and she was sitting there eating, and I walked myself up and introduced myself, and she said, "Sit down," and I sit down and talked with her and Johnny, her husband, who was
Johnny Wright.
Yeah, Johnny Wright. And it was a fun evening. Then I was in the band that opened the show for them, so you know, it was a fun evening. But it is one of the things that a lot of people didn't get to meet Kitty Wells or Johnny.
Yeah.
So I guess that dates me as an old guy, but it was really cool. But also I'll have to throw in here too that Another reason that I appreciate the guy coming by being a fiddler. I'm also a fiddler, so
Oh, nice.
so it is. Yeah, I have a soft place in my heart for fiddlers.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah, I spent a lot of my time at Tommy Gerald's house, if you know who Tommy is.
Oh, yes. Awesome.
Tommy was really influential on me because neither one of us have in good intonation. Tommy was a pioneer. Tommy's a great old-time fiddler, and I spent time going to his house and learning how to play with bad intonation. So, just like he did.
Okay.
So, but there again. All right, let's get back to the real story.
Okay.
All right, so we're leaving Minnesota, I think.
Yes. So when I was 16, there was an album that came out by the band Lou Reed, Terry Baucom in Carolina. It was called Carolina Moon.
Yep.
And they got Jack Tottle, who was the director of the East Tennessee State University Bluegrass Old Time Country Music Program, to do the liner notes for that record because Marcus Smith, the bass player, had been through the program.
Okay, yeah.
And so I got excited when I saw that I could get credit for playing bluegrass music. And I told my parents, I'm going there. And they said, yeah, right, you're going to go there. That's so far from home. And I was really a homebody. And I said, no, I'm going to do this. And so I finally convinced them, and we made a 2-year plan to get me down to East Tennessee State. I did my freshman year of college and my senior year of high school together at Gustavus Adolphus College, and because they have a program where you can do that in Minnesota called post-secondary option. And so I got used to being away from home an hour away from home, and then I went 24 hours away from home the next year.
Yeah.
In 97, and I was homesick for maybe about a week until I started getting to meet people, and then I was, and then I felt like I had found a new home because I was in amongst people that spoke my language. Yeah,
that's cool, and the fact that it wasn't like you were going to a big city, going to Johnson City, which probably made it a little easier too.
Yeah, I don't think I could have done Nashville like right out of college.
Oh,
I think that would have been too much for me.
Yeah, I agree. That's hard. Nashville's hard. Period.
Yeah. Well, to this day, I moved toward Nashville when I graduated from college. I took the job with Valerie Smith, and I lived in Nashville for just a few months. And then went to Bell Buckle, Tennessee, because I was renting a room from Valerie, and she and her husband moved, and I just moved with them because I didn't know anybody at the time. So I rented a room from them for about 2 years before finding my own place. So now I've lived in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and then when my husband and I married, I moved to Manchester, Tennessee. So I'm about an hour out of Nashville, and my husband. He'll say, should we move closer to Nashville? You go up there an awful lot, but his work is here in Manchester, and our support network is here, and this is a pretty good place to raise a kid.
And people move to Nashville, but just as soon as they can, they move out. I mean, it's a paradox. We get there, you have to go there, you have to spend a lot of time there, but just as soon as we can make it work, we're out of here. So.
Well, and I can see advantages on both sides. It would be better to be in town. I would probably, have more opportunities.
Particularly as a songwriter, which we're going to talk about. But my work is portable, and I can get to Nashville in an hour, or I can do now with Zoom and Skype and FaceTime. True.
I have lots of writing appointments that way.
Yeah, I mean that is part of the new world that is really good, and it's grown doubly during the pandemic too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to talk about songs that you've written for other people too?
Sure. So Rhonda Vincent recorded one of mine called "Fishers of Men," and that's probably the most successful of any song I've ever written. And it's so simple, and I just remember writing it, walking across campus at ETSU, and just singing to myself, "Rise and follow me. I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me. I'll make you fishers of men." And So Rhonda recorded it on, let's see, I think, what was the name of the album? I can see the album cover in my head, and I can't think of the name. She's actually recorded it twice, but so many people have covered it because of her cut. And and it's easy for people to catch on to. And
it does. It really does have it sticks in your head.
Right, yeah. So, there was a group out of Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic, that recorded that song, and they sent me their version of it, which was all in Czech, so I couldn't understand it. I'm like, yeah, it sounds great. But I'm just amazed at how far that song in particular, but any of my songs, where they've wound up, and it's such an honor, and I'll never get over it. You know, when another artist likes your art so much that they want to make it part of their art, that is just the biggest compliment.
I agree. That is one of the best things in the music business, I feel. Do you remember the first time you got one of your songs recorded by someone else?
Yeah. So the first time was Becky Schleigel and True Blue, and I was playing with them for a few months right before I went down to East Tennessee State. And I didn't get to play on the recording, but they recorded a couple of my songs. And then the first national touring act to record one of my songs was Mark Newton with the song Charlie Lawson Still. Mm. And they made that the title cut of the record, too. So, man, what a way to come out of the gate.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
That was in 2001.
Yeah, it was also back when royalty checks were still royalty checks. Yeah, as opposed to these days, yeah.
It's always been, nickels and dimes for bluegrass musicians.
True, this is true.
Where all that's concerned.
Yeah, I just had Marshall Chapman. Do you know Marshall?
No.
Okay, she's a Nashville person, but the first song that she wrote and had recorded was in the movie Urban Cowboy.
Oh my gosh!
She was saying that was a life changer for her.
Yeah.
And she said she had a number one hit that she co-wrote with 3 people just here recently, and that her royalty check from that was actually her and Matraca Berg had written the song together, and they stole the idea from a Jill McCorkle book. So they called her up and said, "Hey, we're going to make you a co-writer because we stole your idea," and it went to number one. And she said that they got like $3,000 a piece, where the Urban Cowboy one was just huge.
Wow.
So it's changed over the years. But you're right. Poor bluegrass musicians, some of the finest musicians in the world, yet royalty checks. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it because you love it.
Well, you have to love music to do it. Period. There's no way around it. If you're in it for anything but the music, you're going to be badly disappointed. But
absolutely.
So what do you have in the works right now?
Well, making the rounds, talking about the new record. That's the main thing. And trying to get with the label to start talking about the next album.
Right.
And
have you written a lot during this time?
Well, early on in the pandemic, I did write a whole lot, and I've got to get back to it. I had to sideline the writing for a little bit, which I hate to do. I love writing so much, and I just feel so good when I'm writing. But I needed to get back to teaching a little bit to help pay the bills here at the house, and so I've been doing that a couple days a week, and then also gearing up for the release of this record, and I've needed to do a lot of interviews and things surrounding that, and then of course I have a 7-year-old daughter who needs her mama,
right?
And that is my main gig. I'm Romy's mama. That's the title I'm the most proud of.
Yeah, I understand mama. That totally. I saw you were in Owensboro.
Yes. Well, I can't talk much about that, but be on the lookout for more information about that coming, I think, in January. IBMA's this year. How did that happen? How did you do that? I know my listeners would like that. You couldn't go to Raleigh, so. Yeah, so that was all virtual. We had to record our acceptance speeches at home. I actually went to the Dark Shadow recording studio and recorded mine. And then nobody knew, they had everybody submit their acceptance speech, and then we found out that, the night of the award show, of course, who won. They filmed the award show at the Ryman.
Okay.
And I got
did
to
see
be
that.
part of
Yeah.
that. Allison Brown, Missy Raines, and I played for the in memoriam part where they list all the people we've lost throughout the course of the year. And then I got to sit in with Special Consensus. Michael Cleveland and I played double fiddles on Chicago Barn Dance.
Yeah, that's
I got
too
to be
cool.
part of that too. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah, that's also at some point down the line, didn't you have something with the infamous String Dusters that maybe went to like a Grammy deal?
Yes. So that was the infamous String Dusters won the 2018 Bluegrass Grammy, and I had a co-write on there with Jeremy Garrett, and I wrote a song called Freedom. And then I co-wrote the song The Shaker on the Travelin' McCurry's self-titled release that won the 2019 Bluegrass Grammy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is another cool thing. I mean,
very cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love writing with Alan Bartram. I wish we could do it more. He's so good.
well, that's one of the things I noticed is you co-write, but you do not have a co-writing team. You don't have a team. That's big these days.
Yeah, I have people that I co-write with a lot, like Rick Lang and John Weisberger,
Right.
and oh gosh,
Okay, talk my people through a songwriting session like that. I think they're clueless. I think they think it comes in the window.
it kind of does.
It does sometimes. I agree.
Yeah. Well, like Rick Lang and we'll write via Skype, but sometimes we'll write up at Daywind Music in, where is that? Hendersonville, I believe.
Okay.
But see, Rick is from New Hampshire, so he comes into town a few times a year and schedules a bunch of writing appointments. So that's really fun to actually be in person writing. But writing over the computer works too.
Yeah, it does work too. Yeah.
But yeah, we come into the writing appointment, we get coffee, and we start throwing around ideas. We talk about what's going on in our respective worlds, and sometimes that'll spark an idea, or maybe we'll pull out our list of ideas. I keep a running list on my phone of song ideas.
An instrument that you write with normally?
I bring a guitar to the writing sessions, or sometimes I'll bring a fiddle, but honestly, I don't like to pick up an instrument too early in the process because I find that my fingers follow familiar paths.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's some of the best writing advice anyone has told me during this time. That's great.
Well, and I can't claim that as my own. That's actually from John Hartford.
Yeah, one of my very all-time favorite people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to write the song and then figure out what I did. And I've actually learned chords because of that, because I had to figure out what I did.
Well, yeah, what chord will fit here now? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's great. That's great. I'm glad you shared that. You've had some real enlightening parts. One last thing, too, is were you, when you first started getting some success, were you in awe of the bluegrass musicians you were around, or did it just flow kind of easy with you?
You know what? I'm still in awe of the bluegrass musicians I get to hang around with.
Yeah, I would
and
be.
I have to. I sometimes have to pull myself back and say, "Come on, Becky, these are your peers." I have to like literally consciously remind myself of that, because I'm such a fan, and I have been my whole life.
I was thinking about you and Michael Cleveland fiddling that, and I'm thinking, I don't know that I might be too nervous to do that, and I'm not a nervous person, so.
Man, he is a monster. He's good. He is so good.
He is so good, yeah.
Oh,
He is.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's times I just wondered if that, obviously it does not bother or intimidate you at all. So that tells me that you're pretty confident.
I do my best to not let the intimidation show.
Well, you do a good job. I mean, you do a really good job at it. It's
Thank you.
So what else do I need to know, Becky?
Oh man, I don't know. If people can, please check out my website. It's BeckyBuller.com. Buller is spelled just like it sounds. B as in boy, ULLER. BeckyBuller.com. And you can get both digital and physical copies of my new record there. And also we've got T-shirts and we've got neck gaiters. Those
Sure.
masks.
Mm-hmm.
You can get those with our logo on it. That's new on the website. And of course, all the music and the bluegrass cookbook is on there.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. We didn't talk about that.
No, well, yeah. So I'm part of the Cooking with Grass Volume 1 and Volume 2 that was put out by Becky Cantrell. And I've got Volume 1 on the website, and I need to get Volume 2 up there as well.
So you just contribute a recipe?
Yeah, I did. In the first book, I contributed my grandma's roll recipe and a pie crust and an apple pie.
That's
recipe.
so Midwestern. That's
I
just,
guess so, yeah.
that's great.
And then in the second one, I contributed my sister-in-law's healthy brownie recipe. Which makes me laugh because I don't. How can brownies be healthy?
Exactly, a healthy brownie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then my a rhubarb recipe from a neighbor of mine growing up in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Bernice Olson. Yeah.
Yep, that's all Midwestern, no doubt.
Yeah, rhubarb is very Midwestern, and I geek out about rhubarb because it's hard to find down here.
Yeah, I think it is.
I've been trying to grow it. I've actually, for the last 2 years, I've kept some rhubarb plants alive. So this next season, I should be able to use them. If they come back, I can use them.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it is hard to find. I'm a pretty hard gardener, and that's not something I've grown.
It's too warm down here now. Apparently, it used to grow everywhere down here back when my father-in-law was a kid. But in the 40s and 50s, you could find it. And I've heard you can find it in the mountains. Like Brooke Aldridge told me that they had it growing up there where she's from.
Yeah, they probably did. She lives up there in Ginsengville, which it doesn't grow anywhere. In Rampville, I mean, they grow a lot of stuff up there that doesn't grow anywhere else very well. But have we covered everything?
I'm trying to think of anything else. Please, once you go to our website, it'll get you to our social media pages, and please check that out because we've got a lot of fun stuff going on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we've got a special contest that's going to be happening really soon here. I'm not going to say any more about it, but it's going to be fun, and you'll want to take part in it. And so that's going to happen on our Facebook page. But you can get to all of that from BeckyBuller.com. And also there are videos of the band on there. You can get lyrics for my songs. Find out where we're playing, which right now we don't have any show dates on there, but we're booking for 2021 and beyond. And looking forward to being back on the road with everybody. And until we can get back on the road, I've been doing live streams. So just check my social pages for those.
That sounds good. I only have one last question. Is it hard being a band leader?
Is it hard to be a band leader?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I mean, because especially I'm such a people pleaser. I want everybody around me to be happy and having a good time. When people join the band, I always tell them, okay, here's this. I want to make good music with good people for good money, have a good time, and then go home. And that's it. I don't want drama.
Yeah.
I just want to have a good time. And so far, it's been wonderful. And everybody that has come into the band has done a great job of holding to that. And but still, especially like so most of my shows canceled for this year. There were a couple holdouts and some things that I had to cancel because of personnel stuff, because some of my band was willing to go and some of them weren't.
Yes, I play in a band like that myself.
Got to respect it all. And, then trying to find people that I was like, well, do I plug in players and try to put something together? Well, then how do we rehearse? Where can we rehearse where we can be socially distant enough?
All right.
It's just been all sorts of decisions that I've had to make, and there's no good answer for any of them right now. So that drove me kind of crazy.
I'm sure.
In the last few months, but just trying to take it a day at a time, and I'm looking forward to getting back to picking with the guys.
I think everyone is.
I actually have a band rehearsal tomorrow. I appreciate my church is letting me get together with the guys there so we can spread out and not feel like we're on top of each other there. We're just, enough room to be 6 feet apart and play music.
Oh, yeah, I do. Trust me, I do understand. And well, it sounds like that possibly you'll come out of this as an even stronger band leader, because you've had more different problems than anyone's had in the past. So.
Yeah, shoo. Oh, my word.
I'll tell you. Well, I do thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you having me. I
think that you enlighten the world to the new world of bluegrass. I live in an area where they're pretty familiar with the old world of bluegrass, but it's changed so much. And I think you've been a really good guide into the modern world of it.
Well, thank you.
So
I love it. I love all branches of the bluegrass family tree. I can't imagine me doing anything else other than getting to pick and sing.
That's wonderful. Again, thank you so much, Becky.
Well, thank you, Sandy.
All right.
Is your conscience heavy, burdened by the past? Do you wrestle with those demons every night? Honey, 'cause your choices caught up with you at last. My friend, there's just one way to make it right. Tell the truth, shame the devil, send him slinging back into the shadows. It's time to level. Tell the truth, shame the devil. This world is lost in darkness, and evil has its way. Oh, Lucifer keeps walking to and fro. When we take the high road into the light of day, there's only one place left for him to go. Tell the truth, shame the devil, send him slinging back into the shadows. Shame the devil. Well, teaching at the temple is our not yet arrived. Jesus spoke to all who would believe. If you've been my disciples and in my word abide, you'll know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Tell the truth, shame the devil, send him slinking back into the shadows. It's time to level. Tell the truth, shame the devil, send him slinking back into the shadows. It's time to level. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You wanna tell the truth, shame the devil. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You wanna tell the truth now, shame the devil. Yeah, you wanna tell the truth, shame the devil. You gotta tell the truth and shame the devil.